Where is Danny?
I have no idea. Good evening, everyone. We are live and right on time at 8 o'clock.
Look at that. Nice timing. Hey, everyone. Good to see you.
Can't see anyone.
Where is Danny? Okay, we can sort of see them. You can see little pictures there.
See little pictures of you. Say hi. G'day.
Hey, that's my dad.
Hey.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah.
I reckon I might have seen Dad more on Notion live streams than I did in person over the last 6 months.
Mm.
Well, that's Victorian's government to blame. This has nothing about your family.
Yeah, true that.
Cool. If you're online, let us know where you are joining us. We have Jonas again from Stockholm, right? Am I wrong? We've got, I don't know how to pronounce that, Lavette. Sorry.
From Kenya.
Nice.
From Kenya.
Hi, Kim.
We've got Luke. We've got Ray Ching, our old friend.
Hey, Ray.
Nice. Heggy's here.
Where is
from
Danny?
Indonesia. I don't know. We haven't seen Danny for a while.
It's like a Notion stable.
It's just not the same without him.
We felt a little bit sad last time because when we did the build with us, Danny wasn't there. It was sad.
Oh, hey, Harry.
Sweden.
Oh, nice.
Harry, he does the Notion Videos website, I think.
Hi, Harry.
From India.
From India.
Cool.
And of course, Sonia and Dan
from Geelong.
Oh,
neighbors.
I know those guys. Hey, how you going? Oh, no. Lennon's gone.
Oh.
We're all alone.
We'll run it ourselves. It's okay.
Oh, Ray Ching.
Oh,
She
hi,
called
Ray.
you the better half.
Hi, Ray. We miss you.
Oh, he's back.
Yep, I've just did something wrong. I am sorry.
That doesn't matter.
As long as the live chat didn't stop.
No, we're going.
I was scared for a second.
We could all disappear.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Wendy. That's my sister.
Oh, look at that.
Getting all the
It's a family
on
affair.
it.
Yeah, trying to boost the numbers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, we have got quite a boost after 7:30. Actually, there's like 10 more people sign up.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Funny how that happens. I don't know why that happens. We didn't do any last minute.
Cool. I'm actually start sharing my screen.
Yeah, go for
blah 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 blah. Can't speak right now. Awesome. I'm just very excited I got a haircut. And for everyone that does not know, Melbourne's slightly getting out of lockdown and we are now allowed to have a haircut. There are apparently people lining up at midnight in the CBD trying to get a haircut for the next morning.
No,
and I'm not lying.
Wow. How did you get one?
We actually did it ourselves, and just before they announced it, so we did it on the Saturday. A bunch of YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. Jay worked out how to do a fade. Been cutting my hair for 6 months.
Mm.
Great job. Great job. Jay.
Yeah, it's good. Took me a few goes to get it right.
Yeah, was only allowed to turn one way in the live stream for a while there because I had a big.
Cool. I might get started doing my typical spiel at the front. Welcome, everyone. Today is 21st of October. We're 80% of 2020 as of yesterday, just so you know. This is our 5th event on Crowdcast. We are very glad you're here with us. We have people all over the world joining us tonight, which is very exciting. On the line with me is Jay and Tim, the Jeffries. And they will show some really good things tonight, which we've sure that you heard all over about it on Twitter and stuff. So let's do some intros. So again, this is the 5th event. The event's title is Notion Family, which is what the Jeffrey is going to talk about. Welcome again. At the bottom of the screen, you will see poll. And we've got 2 questions lined up. One of them is, how long have you been using Notion? One is, do you use it for personal, for business, or for both? Feel free to leave your question there. And then on the right-hand side, it's the chat window. Feel free to let us know where you are and what time is it for you right now. We're always interested in that. A little acknowledgement, which we typically do. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that I'm hosting this event from Warren country and pay my respect to the elders, past, present, and future. I also want to acknowledge the current global context, brackets Melbourne or Victoria, with the pandemic and various other movements and challenges being faced around the world. There's a lot going on for everyone at the moment. We are here to support each other, not only in the Notion community, but also the global one. As this context continues to evolve, we have an opportunity to empower each other, develop shared resilience, and work creatively so we can rise to new challenges. I've got that word right for the first time, resilience.
Nice.
Awesome. Housekeeping stuff. Make sure you say something nice in the chat. Today will be the Jeffries show, so I'll be monitoring the chats. You can leave the question there, or you can leave the question in Ask a Question tab, which is down the bottom. We've got a little takeaway link, which links to the Notion family website, which include the templates the lovely family is going to walk you through. And again, make sure you ask plenty of questions. I'll make sure to write them down and answer them after it. It's okay to take a toilet break or take a phone call. No one's going to see you. And please give us any feedback via the poll at the end of it. We'll ask a couple of questions. Agenda today, super simple. We're currently doing the warm-up, and then the family's going to walk you through the Notion family stuff. And then we'll have some Q&A at the very end. And Jay has just let me know if there's any burning question. I'm going to stop her and just ask her.
Or if I mumble.
What to expect today? So Tim and Jay are Power Notion users, without a doubt. We're definitely in good hands. Everything today is about running your family in Notion. And we definitely acknowledge that everyone has their own definition of a great family life, what comes in priority. And Tim and Jay would like to share you their way of running a big household, and of course, using the templates to support yours. And we're showing you how powerful could Notion be, usually in this crowdcast event. And it could be a little bit overwhelming looking at all the different stuff, especially if you are new to Notion. Take a breath and make sure you ask plenty of questions. And we'll always do follow-up, build with us session or Q&A session 2 weeks after events like this. Finally, a little spiel about Notion Australia. We host these events, and it's Tim and Lennon teaming it up. We definitely love Notion. And our goal really is just to connect Notion lovers in Australia and time zone neighbors, as in all the major events happens in North America. And we would like to give you a time zone that's more friendly to us. So this is our website. Again, this is our mission. On the page, we're always showing up what's coming up next. This is the event we're doing. Here are all the links to the past events replay. We've been uploading all of the recording to our YouTube channel. And if you're interested, either go through that link or just search Notion Australia in YouTube, and make sure you subscribe that so you don't miss any events. And here are some templates we've previously made. And of course, today's template is going to be made available through the takeaway link at the bottom again. We've got a little bit of FAQs. If you are new to Notion, feel free to toggle these little things and know how you get started with them or get some inspirations. And any questions you have, feel free to email us. And it's spiel about Tim and myself, which we typically skip. It's just us two. And with a love for you to contribute, feel free to email us about being on one of events like this, to be a guest speaker talking about your workspace. We'd love to see your use case. We've covered chef, we've covered designs, we're covering family today. We'd love to see a broader coverage of everything. You can also join us as a Q&A panelist or help us facilitate some of our Zoom session if you'd like. Always on the hunt for community partner, help us organize these events together. And really anything Notion related, shoot us an email. Not shoot us, thank you. And that is it. And I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm very excited to welcome the Jeffries again. Let me figure out how can I close the video. Great.
Nice. Thanks, Lennon.
Thanks. That was great. Little intro.
I know, we always wanted our own show.
I know.
Now we got it.
We didn't really want our own show. But now we have it. Cool.
All right.
Well, some of you probably already know Tim, that he's been using Notion for quite a while. I'm Jay, Tim. We've got 4 kids. We started using, Tim started using Notion.
I started using it first,
in a few years back, and I was not that excited about learning technology.
I would always bring home some new stray dog piece of software that Jay wasn't interested in and try and convince her that it was the latest, greatest thing and that we should use it and that we should use it for our family. So it was like 2018 I started using it, but it wasn't until last year.
Yeah, I think probably about a year and a half ago, one of our kids had been getting quite sick, and we went to lots of doctors and dietitians and so forth, and the dietitian wanted us to track all of her food and all of her poo habits and all of her toilet habits, and I was like, this is ridiculous, and I had some big long sheet of paper and couldn't really share it with her, and Tim said, well, I could do something in Notion, and I was like, no. But yes, I reluctantly did. So that's kind of how it started. We created this database for her diet and toilet habits.
We actually saw it. We saw it yesterday. It's really ugly. It's really ugly, really simple.
Yeah.
But it was the beginning, wasn't it? And it enabled us to track all these things and then share it with the dietitian, which just seemed kind of amazing. The dietitian couldn't believe that we could just write it all down and she could see it, and the GP could see it, and so that was the beginning.
And then we sort of just started using it for lots of things and throwing in sort of pages full of stuff and information we'd bring in from places, and after a while we just kind of had a bit of a mess and a jungle of pages and tables and lists everywhere, really. And
couldn't
trying to
anything.
Search for somebody's stuff, and it was just all a little bit messy, and we just realized we sort of needed an overhaul and a way to think about it. And Tim had been using it already for work and creating these systems, and we were like, let's create one for families, for our family. And then beyond that, we decided to share it.
So I think we realized that we needed a system to hang it all together. It was a great tool and allowed us to pull everything into the one place, but it didn't actually make it any easier. We knew we had to go to Notion to find it, but then we had to dig around in there to try and work it out. So tonight we're going to show you the system that we built for ourselves, and we'll go through kind of some of the details and tease out kind of how we use it, which will hopefully be inspiring for people. They might see ways of using Notion that they hadn't considered for themselves. But also what we're showing you, we've sort of taken to that next stage and decided that we wanted to share it with everyone else. And so we've packaged it up and we've called this thing Notion Family. And so towards the end, we'll kind of detail how it's available to everyone else. It's a free thing that we're just putting out there. And we really would love to kind of go on the journey of organizing, our family and other people organizing theirs in Notion and encourage one another, because our experience has been so far that there's so many different ideas and, potential. It's such a powerful tool, and people's creativity and their particular perspective can bring, a lot of value. And so we don't have all the answers, but we've hopefully given people a framework to put those in. So let's jump in and have a look. I'll share our screen. We can stop looking at ourselves, which would be nice.
Yes, please.
Oh, hang on. I took it away.
I'm glad we're not relying on me for technology.
Oh, sass. I'm getting it from Ray in the chat. And
hi, Shannon. It's got hi.
All right. Oh, thanks, Lennon.
Oh, so that does change focus screen for everyone. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. All right. So you can see our screen?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. So this is our kind of main page. This is our family hub. We call it Jeffries HQ. And I just want to give you the briefest of overviews. Basically what we have on the left-hand side, you can see different dashboards, but we'll start with the databases. So this has something called a database library that we will jump into and have a look. And that's where all the data is actually stored. Everything lives on this page. And if you look in our sidebar, this is at the top level. It's actually the only thing in our workspace. So there's a database library where all the databases themselves live, but we don't access the information that way. We access it through these dashboards. And these dashboards are really Notion pages that are built around bringing all the information for a particular theme. And so we'll go through those and talk you through what we've done. And then this info on the right is really like, we call them snapshots, kind of like widgets on your phone, kind of quick access information that you want to see really fast. So Jay, you love these medical profiles.
Yeah. We
go to the doctors a lot. We got 4 kids.
It's just things that you kind of want to quickly, have access to and jump into. And so it can be different for everyone. But for me, I often want Medicare numbers and quick information about things, and for the budget as well. Yeah,
so these are just ones that we have chosen, but these are like super customizable. You can, whatever workspace you've stored in your, whatever information you've stored in your workspace, you can kind of pop it on that side. So let's start by having a poke through are we going to start with the databases? Oh, yeah. No, I'll just have a quick look. We'll go in here. So like I said, this is the space that you would normally access, or we would normally access to actually go in and look and use information. But in terms of setting it all up, these are a whole series of databases, and you can see there's actually quite a few in here, and they run everything basically. Now, when someone would start with the templates we built, you wouldn't start at this phase, but these are the ones that we built up over time, and they house everything. So there's a couple of really key ones. The family members one is actually the list of all the people in the family. And these databases, if you're familiar with Notion, you will know about related databases. But if you're not, basically, we have the ability to put a table of information together and then connect that to another table. And so that's how a lot of what we're going to demonstrate to you is powered. And one of those things is family members. So there's 6 of us, and lots of the information that's stored across the workspace is connected to, like my health information is connected to me, not to Jay, so that when we look at my health profile, my stuff comes up. And the other key one like that is tags. And so we use tags to sort of connect information around a particular theme across the workspace. So there's heaps of databases, and you'll see them as we cruise through the dashboards. So I'm going to demo these green ones quickly, and then I'll hand over to Jay and she'll take us on to the next bit. So some of the dashboards are quite complicated, but lots of them are really simple. And we really wanted to create like the one place that you go to find out information about something. So that's often what a dashboard is. You can see here we've got like finances. If we duck in here, you'll see that what we've created here is a page that brings in information all about our finances. So there's a database in here that shows out all our receipts, and these go back for ages. But basically, every time we buy something that's significant that we'd want to keep the receipt for, it goes in here, and we slap these bits of information on it. We've done some things like health insurance things that need to be claimed, or things that could be claimed on the tax. Got a little property there so that we can bring up a view and say, show me all the health insurance things that need to be claimed. Really useful. We've also got a budget tracking tool. So this is, pretty detailed, but actually it brings in like what the budget is for this area for the month. And then we bring in the transactions and we do a budgeting process, kind of built around the themes of you need a budget, if people have come across that. I've got a crypto workspace for my bad habit of investing in cryptocurrency. But this dashboard is really like our space to go to quickly check these things. So, if we want to know how much money is in this account for the month, different things that are stored in our filing cabinet, which you'll see pop up all the time. We have a filing cabinet, which is much like the filing cabinet sitting on the other side of the room. It doesn't get used anymore. It's got all kinds of info in it. This one is filtered to only show things that relate to finances. So yeah, this is, and then we've got a tasks database as well, and this just brings in the relevant tasks that are connected to finance. So hopefully, as we go through these, you'll see this kind of common theme of, we've got a dashboard, you know, it's a particular topic or a person, and you know, we're bringing in all the information that's relevant to it. So we've got a garden one, which you had a fair bit to do with setting this one up.
He has to show the garden one because I went out and took photos that were better today. Oh. Scroll down. Yeah, apparently my photos weren't good enough to display to the world.
Oh, down here. Here we go.
So these are better. Yeah.
So we like gardening, veggie gardening, and we've got, you can see a garlic crop in here at the moment. So we wanted, yeah, I mean, this is just another database that displays the garden beds and what's growing in them and when to harvest things. You can see views of the filing cabinet here on the left that are around particular themes, fruit trees or garlic, again, is a common theme. No tasks for the garden.
No.
And then similar. So these ones, they're pretty simple. Like, you know, in the home one, you can see these are the jobs that are scheduled in to do this weekend. Wonder if that'll happen. And any resources that relate to things for home. We've actually got a list of someday maybe tasks that are things to fix in the house, which is always exciting. I don't go in there very much if I can help it. We've got a meals dashboard. And this has really just grown over time, all of these tools. Like some of them are kind of early days and we haven't played with them very much. Others of them, like the budgeting one, they're much more developed and we've really worked out our process and how we need to use it, what information we need. So do you want to talk to this?
Yeah, this is just a really simple one just because it suits me to just be pretty simple. And I just like to have a list of the meals I'm going to do. And eventually I will interconnect everything, but I'm just still sort of working it out. But it's just a little basic look at the regular meals and recipes that I've got in the filing cabinet. And yeah, so it's pretty simple. I think there's some really good like meal planning templates out there, which I'm yet to explore, but will. So yeah, these dashboards will just slowly develop as we learn more and get interested in things.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the cars one's super simple, but, you know, I can never remember the registration for my car, and just details about where to get things serviced, any resources for things that when we sold this car or when Jay got that speeding fine or whatever it is. So I think the most useful element to all these dashboards are they're the one place that we go to. None of that information is now stored anywhere else. We used to have things that were in the filing cabinet and some stuff in Evernote and some stuff in the computer and you know, just on a desktop in files. But now actually it's tucked away in a particular place. I was just thinking we might show off these shopping tools. So we have an insane grocery bill. We have 4 kids and we have some crazy diet issues. And so our shopping is a little bit insane. And so it would always, I do the grocery, like the supermarket shop on a Sunday, and it would always take hours of like putting the list together and, you know, and then kind of you in our house, you'd kind of walk through the house and work out all the things you'd need, stand in front of the pantry, you know, kind of write them all down. And then hopefully you hadn't forgotten anything. And then I'd go to the supermarket, but I'd get to the supermarket and then the list isn't in order. And so we had an app that we used and I would kind of reorder things. Anyway, what we did was we made a database, a shopping database called Grocery List Shopping. And then we made a bunch of dashboards. Now this one is in our house. All these things are in order of where they're stored in the house. So this is like from the very top of my pantry all the way down. These are all the possible things that we might buy. Don't judge us. It's looking pretty healthy, actually, I have to say.
There is actually a list on there so you can see which area everything is kept as well. But I think we've hidden it.
It's in a property. But this view it's meant to be used on my phone. So it needs to be narrow enough to kind of just fit on my phone. And I tick the things that I want to buy. And if I need to buy more than one or I want to put some information in, I can put it in there. So I go all the way through that, which is super fast compared to what it used to be. And then when I actually go and get to the supermarket, I go shopping, and I end up with, I should have prepared it. I end up with a list, and the list is actually in the order of the supermarket. So it took a little bit of time to work that out, like the first 1 or 2 times, which aisle is this thing in, but it actually didn't take that long. And then before I knew it, we had a shopping list that was in order, and I could whip through Woolies in 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half. So here you go. I've opened it up fully so you can see all the details.
I get a bit nervous when you go into...
Actually go into the database.
Go into things.
What's going to be in here?
It's like, oh gosh, what have I got in there?
Undies.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Not good. We don't really buy undies.
With 4 children. So you can see, I mean, people will be more or less interested in how it all works, but we've got a database with a whole lot of properties. In the dashboards that we create, you only bring the ones in that you need. And so when you're in the supermarket, you don't care which home location that item's in. You just want to know which aisle it's in, and you want them in order so you can start at one end of the supermarket and finish at the other. So it's a cool example of a little tool that we've been able to build that has actually really helped kind of our family life. And then just these two at the top. So the filing cabinet, it's pretty huge. I think I had a quick look before. It's got like 750 entries in it, and there's a bunch of stuff that I still haven't quite managed to get in there. But this filing cabinet, we really think about it like an old school filing cabinet, and sometimes we call it the brain, which is why it's got this picture here, or the memory. And it's really where we put documents and images and files that relate to these different areas of our lives. So if you just look at it in this form, it's got all kinds of random things all next to each other. Some maybe not even that internet friendly. I don't know. I think I just saw some kid's medical thing. But we don't look at it in that view very often, but I like to have a view so that I can quickly just go and search the whole thing. But it pops up, when Jay will show you in a minute, you go into a medical section and it brings up the relevant medical tests for that person. And similar with tags. So I break the tags up. It's one database, but some of them are people. So Lennon gets a mention here. So there's 7 things that are stored somewhere in the workspace that are connected to this tag. And so this gives me a way of actually going in and specifically seeing, the things that I've worked on with Lennon that are in the filing cabinet or in a project or in a task. So they're really useful as well if you can't, if you want to go looking for something specific. Do you want to jump in?
I can. Do we
medical business?
Want to go straight in? Has anyone had a question there? Or we're good?
I think people are blown away by you guys documenting the aisle in the supermarket. Would you like to elaborate on that or explain yourself?
This is what happens. You go to the supermarket with a list, and I'm going to make a confession. Our grocery bill is almost never under $400 for a week, and that's just the supermarket. And so the trolley is always over full. So we're not just like ducking in to grab a couple of things. It's a mission. And so if you have a list that's not in the order of the aisles, then you kind of go through the supermarket and you think, oh yeah, I'll remember the things that are in this aisle. But you don't, you miss them. And so you go up and then you go back, and then you, like the other day, the lentils spilt all over the place and I had to go back and get them again. And it just takes ages. So I thought, you know what, stuff it. I'm going to put them in, I'm going to store which aisle they're in, which mostly I could remember. And then what I ended up with is a list on my phone. I can just tick them off as I go through, and I can see, have I got everything from this aisle at a glance, and because they're all different colors, and it's fast. So it was worth the effort.
I actually put this template up on the Notion family site, and I wrote the instructions for it. And it got to the section where you have to tell people how to add the aisles in. And I think all I said was, it's going to take a while, but it's worth it. You just have to go and bite the bullet and do it if you're really that keen to do it.
It used to be like 2 hours out of my Sunday. and now I can almost do the whole thing in an hour. So
He's
yes,
the shopper.
Thanks, Ray. I'm I'm a supermarket ninja warrior.
Yeah, he is.
Has Woolies ever organized their aisle?
Say that again.
Probably not.
For us.
Has Woolies or Woolworths ever reorganized their aisle for the history of?
No, I've got a contract with them. They're not going to do it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Good to know.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Woolworths is a local Australian brand. We call it Woolies. It's just a supermarket chain. Yeah.
I know. Sometimes we say a few Australian words. Sorry. So hopefully
that's the charm. That's part of the charm.
Is that right?
Hope so. Alrighty. Well, we'll continue.
Yes, please.
So the next section is a medical section, which can kind of be either put on one dashboard, but I've split it over to 3. It's just a little bit easier because I think it's going to grow. So I'll just jump straight in. On my first medical dashboard, I just keep the profiles, the family profiles and everybody's details, which I also have mostly on the front page too, and then just our medical documents. So all linked to the filing cabinet, anything to do with health just comes up there and I can do a quick search. So there's not much on this page, but if we jump out.
So it's probably worth explaining that we've got 4 kids, and Tuscan, our oldest, has Down syndrome and had a whole range of other medical issues that he's battled. So there's documentation. If anyone's had, or themselves or little people who've got medical stuff, you're forever trying to find the documentation. And they'll always be asking you about a history and all of these things. So part of Jay building a lot of this stuff has been in response to.
Yeah, definitely. And especially the sickness and injury tracker I'll go through in a second. But both, we just kept needing to track sickness and medication, and with 4 kids it just became really difficult. So I put together a medication sort of schedule, and I'm still sort of just playing around with this. Once a year I have 4 kids that are sick. Maybe they have multiple medications, and so I'm yet to come across that time in the year, but I've been using it at least for when 1 or 2 of them are sick, and basically been able to just sort of put in when they have their medication. It comes up when it's next due, and it's all linked to their name, their profile, and it's also linked to a medication vault. We
always talked about it. Hey, like when you've got a few kids, I mean, even if you've got 1 or 2 and you're totally sleep deprived, and they've got a fever, and maybe you've got a fever, and you're trying to work out, when did we last give that kid Panadol? When are we allowed to give it to them again? Because they're losing their mind, and so are we. And we always thought, wouldn't it be great if someone built an app that would allow us to like automatically just know, okay, yes, you know. And
there are apps, but some of them were a bit too much, too detailed, or not enough, and you couldn't really share it between each other. Like, I just wanted something somewhat simple where I put in when I gave Panadol, and Tim can wake in the middle of the night and know when that was given and when it's due next. So we're still playing around with it, but watch out. We will put it on the Notion family site at some point. And so the other one that I use a lot is the sickness tracker and injury, and you can sort of set it up however you want. I've split it up into sickness, injury, and mental health. So depending on what your family needs, you can view it in different ways. If you have someone who needs to have those areas broken up so you can see it in a bit more detail. But I'll go into Eucalypt. I think she's not naked. But so basically I just have a view that is set up, gallery view, that shows sort of the different sicknesses that have sort of come up. Now, a lot of this has been transferred from crappy apps I was using and note apps I was using. So I've just chucked it all in. So it's great. Now I can work out, okay, where all the information was for that allergic reaction, for when she had that iron infusion, when she had that bout of, this or that. So it's been perfect, especially for our eldest boy, who we said has Down syndrome, but that hasn't been as much of a problem as he keeps getting other weird things like cellulitis or a bone infection or
when you have to give a like a history, you go to a doctor and you see a different doctor or something.
So I'll go in actually and show you, but it's really easy to go in to enter what's happening, an event, just quickly enter things. But then I've also popped here just a sickness sort of update. So instead of having to write notes on the page and so forth, you can just quickly track stuff. Okay, something changed and updated. Clearly not Notion. Oh, there you go. So I can quickly put in a date, what changed, and if any care taken. But it just keeps a history because, when you've got sickness and suddenly it's just a virus, but then it becomes something else and you end up in hospital and then something else. And you just want a way to track all the things that happen and which had that IV line in it that I need to tell the doctor about for next time because it's the only good one. So it's just a really good way to track when you've got a busy family. But it also includes pets. So I'm going to show you soon the pet hub, but yeah, you can have your animals in there too and the things that are going on for them. So that's our medical area. And then I just have a general sort of family area here. I'm going to go into the family members because this database is probably one of the most important. It relates to everything. Oh, something happened there and now we're massive. But anyway,
we're massive.
We're sorry. Let's fix that later. So anyway,
past me.
This is a database that is sort of really simple. You just enter somebody's name and a few of their details, but it's also set up so that everything, when you click on them, it has all the information in it down the bottom here. I've set up templates for kids and adults and for pets. So this is a child's one. It just gives a bit of a medical profile, her measurements for the last year. This is her schedule, which we'll go through the schedule section later. There's not much in there at the moment with COVID. Her sickness and injury stuff comes up in here in a view, in a way that I sort of like to see it. Her medication comes up here. I can get a full sort of history of her medication, but also just when things are due. Her medical documents, I forgot to delete that one, so let's ignore that one. But her medical documents come up in this medical documents section, and then just a general filing cabinet with all the stuff that is related to her that isn't medical. I keep it sort of in here if I need to grab something. I'll go through the databases a bit more detailed soon, but there's a milestone database that's sort of just, I'm playing around with that.
It's like the old school baby book.
Yeah, I never used the old school baby book. I kind of used a few other things, and so now I'm like, oh, I feel a bit bad about that. So I better add some stuff in, and I look back on Facebook about when she walked, and so I'm going to trial that, but I think it'll be really good for people that have babies or young people because it's just so easy to send a picture, make a little entry to track all that, and you've got all of your kids being tracked, and I don't know, I think it's great. Yeah. Then I've got a creations database too. Well, it actually lives inside the filing cabinet, so little I've tagged things that are creations, and the kids just love coming in and seeing the things I've taken pictures of that they
But we also had to solve the age-old problem of your kid makes 400 drawings for you, and have you got the heart to throw them out? Yeah. How are you going to justify to yourself and the child that you do love the drawing? It's an amazing drawing and you're a special snowflake, but we can't keep them all. What are we going to do with them? This is our answer. Yeah. And it's been awesome. Yeah.
And then I've just got a mini photo gallery set up for each family member. Just sort of some of my favorites. Notion's not necessarily the best place
to see that picture.
To keep all your photos and store them. But sometimes, you've got a favorite and you just wish you knew where it was when you wanted to show your friends photos. And so here I just kind of keep 15, 20 so far, maybe 100 by next year of photos for the kids. The ones that I really like. I'm not going to continue because
the kids that you really like, or
the kids. I preference just have the children I like, and I delete the others.
The thing to say about the family members, these pages. Can I just drive for 2 seconds? We so sorry to scroll like crazy, but this page, it's like a dashboard for each of the family members, but it's actually, for those of you who are in the play around with Notion, so this is a page inside the family members database, and it has a template in it that's got a whole bunch of self-referencing filters. So all of the databases that we've used, and if you have a look, you can see the medical profiles, measurements, family schedule, sickness and injury, like all of the different databases that we've got info stored in. Any of those that have items that are connected to Eucalypt's entry will appear in here. So it means that regardless of which information you store, I mean, you might not care about any of that, the medical stuff, you know, and for different people, different kinds of families, you're going to store different info. But you can create a view that says, show me everything from the whole workspace that's related to this one person, and you get it in one go. So you have to set up the template, but as soon as it's set up, it all updates automatically. And so these are really powerful views of everything, you know, that's in the workspace that's related to the family members. Quickly get off my picture.
I just realized, I was like, was I breastfeeding in that photo? Oops, sorry. But I wasn't. I was very appropriate. So that is a little taste of the family members, just a view there. And then I have the views of, I don't know if it's worth sort of going into them all, but of each area. So I have a section where I keep the creation. So if all the kids are hounding me and all looking over my shoulder, this is all of their little creations.
Tuscan's got none.
Tuscan
That
has.
kid does not draw.
Well, I probably neglected to take pictures.
Oops.
Some children are neglected, but this really points out those that are neglected. I have a little measurement section, which I'm sort of playing around with how I'm going to view it, but basically it's just a good way to keep track. And this is one way to view it. So I've got all the children, and there's the adults, which I'm not going to completely show you all of it, but
we can show my bicep.
Yeah, and then it's sort of got, oh, that's mine. Oops. This one's got a few more measurements. You can do body measurements in this one, and then for this one, half of those properties are turned off for children. You just get the weight, height, and head circumference.
Again, just one of those things that you would like, you track about your kids, and if you're an adult and you're thinking about your health, you probably, you know, you want to be tracking.
Yeah.
This was just, we were storing it in other apps, in other places, and now it's all in the one place. And when they go to the doctor and he says, oh, you know, have you put on weight or have you whatever, then, you know, or what does your kid weigh right now? You can tell him. So it's super useful from that perspective.
Yeah. And I wish I'd have kept other measurements from way back, but anyway, that's okay. And then I've created a little milestone database, which I sort of showed you, and that's the same, like that I've sort of set it up so I can see all the kids. I'm yet to kind of fill it up, but it just gives you a bit of a look at milestones. And like I said, it's probably more helpful for when you've got really little kids and you're just starting to want to track that stuff, you know, that first smile, that first word. So I wish I had access to this, you know, years ago. There's little chores. I've put together a little chores dashboard here so the children can't, you know, misbehave and get away with no chores.
I don't know that one.
There's this, and then there's just a few other things that we can sort of track. So the schedule, I won't go into them all. Photos, it's the same, just to look at everyone's photos. For me, I do a clothes tracker.
This was this week.
And I was pulling out 50,000 uniforms for 4 different children. And so I have created the uniform tracker. So this is all the things I need to buy. It's just, and all the things that I can sell now, and what each child has in the cupboard and is wearing currently, hand-me-downs that are about to come to them. Anyway, so it's really helpful and kind of came out of
pure frustration.
Yeah, pure frustration and having bags and bags of things, and it's just, you can't keep track of it all. I've got 4 kids next year that'll be at school, and it was just, creating havoc. And I also created a few other things, just constantly losing, forgetting what stores that I went to, where I bought those sensory clothing, where I bought the boys' clothes online. And so I've just created a little gallery view of that. And probably the last thing I just want to show you is the pet hub. So this is good for families that really only have pets or
that are very focused on their pets.
Yes,
we tend to neglect our pet compared to some people.
So there's probably even more that you could do, but our pet is a little bit more neglected. So we just have a dog. We do have 6.
They keep dying.
Yeah,
Chickens.
we have 6 chickens now, and so we use this a little bit, but not as much as we could. It's just got current weights and so forth. Your animal and profiles. I've developed sort of a database based on sort of animal profile. Red Gregory has kindly let us use her immunization database. There's a grooming tracker. The sickness tracker ties in with pets, so that's displayed here too.
The dog has no documents.
The filing cabinet, I think we just haven't linked them properly. The filing cabinet that links to animals. The budget, pretty small at the moment.
Pretty thin.
Any milestones and like a little mini gallery again. There will be there's also like a walking route database too, but we don't really use it. But Red Gregory is great for pet stuff, and so she uses that quite a bit, and it sort of allows her to put all walking routes and so forth in. But yeah, so that's probably what I really want to show you. The Pet Hub is great when you've got lots of pets and links in with a lot of other things. And then Tim's going to talk to you about sort of our personal dashboards that we've all got without going into mine too much.
I'll go into yours.
You can go into mine. Have a quick look.
So this is like we said, like our family hub, the kind of central place, and everything lives based out of here. But to be honest, I don't actually come in here very often in terms of how I use Notion. I have my own dashboard that has my own view on this info. So Jay has one as well, and actually a couple of our kids have their own too. Trying to make them budding Notion ambassadors. So this is mine, and you can see it looks totally different to the other one, and it has all my stuff for work. So I use this extensively for work, but it's using the same series of databases. So I've got views on the task, this is my task inbox. This is the filing cabinet inbox. I've got a plan and review system. These are my actions for the day. These are all the businesses and, here's like things that I'm working on. Little link to our notes for tonight. Some personal stuff and section. And then, so the point of showing you this though, is that like, we store all the information in these databases tucked away, and then we build dashboards to facilitate how we want to use that information. So for me, this has been the structure that I've come up with and worked with for quite a while now. And so these are my processes. This is how I kind of do my thing. Jay's looks quite different. I mean, even River, one of our boys, he uses it a bit, and so he's got his own kind of setup as well. These are the things that he likes to go into that are stored all around the workspace. And so we're able to use the one system and the one setup. And I just want to show you, sorry. Are
you going to go into mine or not? I worked hard just so you could want me to. At least have one little quick
Don't poke around
to make
there,
it look, this is mine.
Nice,
it's beautiful.
Clean. Look at that.
Yeah, it's not that exciting. Okay. All right. Okay. We can move on.
All right. Good. So if you were looking kind of closely as we went through things, you would have seen the names of these databases pop up constantly. There's some key ones like the filing cabinet that we talked about earlier that it holds heaps of information and entries inside the filing cabinet. So I might just go into one so I can show you a little bit nerdy if you're not into the kind of the deep, dark specifics. But here we go. Here's it. Nice, easy. So this is an entry in the filing cabinet. And so it's a piece of information that I obviously want to store. It's the Notion Australia logo. And so you can see here it's connected to we have a projects database that I use a lot for work, so it's connected to my Notion Australia project. It's labeled with the type as an image, and there's a whole bunch of different types of entries in the filing cabinet. It's got tags, so you can see this is one of those things that was connected to Lennon, but it would also come up if I was searching for logos, if I was searching for Notion Australia. It's connected to the area, and I'll talk about that in a second, because that's really key to how we manage to use Notion across our whole life, all in the same workspace, all in the same set of databases. And we have a few other fields that we sometimes use here in the filing cabinet. So something like reconsume, I use from a work perspective. If I read an article and I think I really need to read that kind of every 6 months or so, I've got a view on the filing cabinet that says, show me all the articles that, you know, that I haven't touched in the last 6 months, and they pop up there. So that's a really key database. This areas one, this is how we manage to use one set of databases and one workspace for, I mean, what do we run, like 3 or 4 different projects out of the business, different little businesses all at the same time. We do some volunteer work with NCI. We've got, you know, obviously our personal stuff. We've got things that we do with Notion. So there's all this different sort of information all stashed in there. And these are the big high-level areas in our world that we need to split that info along. So Best Practice Management is a consulting firm that we run where we work with law firms, and the Best Practice Management area is attached to all of those. So if I want to bring up everything to do with best practice, I just go into that particular area and I only see those things. So it's been really powerful. I mean, the database feature, I think for a lot of people, you know, they don't think too much about it. It's just a fancy table, but it has enabled us to build this structure for ourselves and store this information in really powerful ways, and then only bring out the info that we need at the right time.
Want to show them the website?
Yes. I just wanted to stop and see if there were any other questions that perhaps we should answer.
I have a couple. If you guys want to start answering some questions. I think this one's from Sonia. It was when Jay was scrolling through the medication section. They're just wondering, how are you getting reminded of all these things that are due?
Yeah, sure.
Is there like a specific mechanism in Notion?
Yeah. Yeah, there is. It's probably the easiest way to show you might be through the through tasks. This is how I use it. So for entries, here you go. Here's our. This is what we're doing right now. Whenever you put a date in, you can pick a date and a time, and then you can set a reminder. And so, you know, and you can set up Notion's notification system to remind you, either kind of just in the app, however intrusively you want, whether you want 50,000 emails or whether you just want a soft pop-up on the phone. And Notion has a, like in this sidebar here, mine, it's normally full of these little red things from all the different notifications across the workspaces. And it actually has... I really like this. It was a bit sketchy at first, but it's a tool that allows you to be notified, you know, if a page that you're working on and you've said, hey, I want to follow this, has changes to it, or if someone mentions you directly, or if a reminder on a task that you've marked, say, remind me on, is set up. So there's layers of, notifications that you can set up, which are pretty useful. And we use it to communicate, you know, what they call it, asynchronously, like around different things that are happening, either things we're working on here, but also even, you know, don't forget to get this on your way home. That there's a sort of commenting feature too. So you can set up notifications in different ways.
Awesome. And the second question is from Luke. He's wondering, because you guys talk about budgeting, and I think we acknowledge that Notion is not as powerful as something like Google Spreadsheet or Numbers in Apple product. But how do you guys feel? To what level do you really do budgeting in Notion at the moment?
Oh, we've done all our budgeting for the last 18 months. using this finances tool that I built. So I'll show you really quickly. Basically, what it has in it is a budget for each. So this is monthly based for each of these categories. So I specify the budget. This is a roll up from a relation to this table, which are the transactions. And so it rolls up the transactions for that month and says, oh, look, Jeffries, you've overspent in your groceries budget because there's no way you're only spending $1,800. And so I had to change allocate more to that and pull some money out of somewhere else. And so it told us, okay, then that's what that means. This much is left in the account. And so actually this is the column that we then show in the dashboard, because this is the column that we need to see in the coming month how much money is still left in that account. So if anyone is familiar with You Need a Budget, there's a book and an app, and it's a really good, I think it's a really good philosophy of kind of personal finance. I just rebuilt that philosophy based in Notion, and it allows us to track with like pretty, it's pretty granular. We go through every transaction. We just do it on a monthly basis, and it allows us to track the flow. So, yeah, I mean, you're right, Lennon, like it's not Excel, but then my experience of using Excel is I probably only ever used 10% of its superpowers. So I've been able to do most of the things that I wanted to do using formulas in tables in Notion. Yeah.
This is a question from me, actually. I've always been interested. Do you kind of tally up all of the stats from each month and put them into a separate table? Or every month it's a clean slate? You don't care about last month?
No, I do. If we won't, but I just changed how it all works. But you end up with a monthly, because this was August, I think. I can't remember exactly, but you end up with a month that, oh no, here you go. Here's the August balance, So we turn that on and that tells us this is what we spent in that month. So that's how we do it, just so I keep track of it over time. Yep. And I work out, oh, we've never, ever met budget and the groceries line. Funny about that. We should change that. It just goes up. Yeah.
Cool. Well, maybe one more question before you guys move forward. And this is from Lavette, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But how often do you guys update the workspace? It looks quite a lot you've included here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we live out of it, really, don't we?
Yeah.
Because it's become the one tool that we need, for everything. I mean, people would have noticed as we went through, like we've replaced other tools that we used to have. We used to have a list on the back of the pantry door that was, the kind of meal prep list. And now that lives in Notion. And we used to have a grid on the medication cupboard, that said, when did this kid last have this medication? You usually couldn't read a handwriting.
Yeah, you live out of it like you would live out of it your different apps that you've got. So I've just replaced the other apps that I'm, using and then also enhanced, because I wasn't using anything to track some things, and they were really lacking. And so it's been good because I can, if there's a sickness, I have a lot of views for my phone. And so if there's a sickness, I just quickly go in and add it. If there's a medication given, I quickly go in and add it on my phone. And if there's a picture that I sort of come across and like, I'll quickly just flick it to my in tray, and then I can sort my in tray out later on. Or if there's a document I find or anything, or even a bill comes in, you can just take a quick picture of it and flick it to my in tray, so that next time I'm sitting at my computer or I can look at it on my phone, that I can sort through my in tray and go, yeah, good, I've got that picture I wanted to keep, and I've got that sickness that's already in and been entered in, and I can just quickly update that. We sort of, we live out of it.
We live out of it, yeah. And if you mean how often do we change it, I mean, that's the beauty of it. We can change it. If it's not meeting our needs and it doesn't work how we want to, then we fix it.
If you've got a view of something, on the home screen, you just think, I never even look at that, which we come across quite often, and that snapshot, we don't even use it, we don't look at it, let's get rid of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to say, like, you know, you've always been okay with technology, but you certainly wouldn't say you're a techie and, you know, you love the nerdy business, but you're super comfortable building and navigating your way around. So it's been,
it's been
really
easy to learn. It's been great. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. It's awesome. Shall I let you guys continue on the next part?
Yeah. Well, we just wanted to share,
Yeah.
you know, so we had this experience of, you know, we didn't quite get it to this point before we realized that, hey, this was a tool that could help a whole lot of other people who are in a similar situation to us. And like we said at the start, families come in all different shapes and sizes and have different needs, but the kind of the structure and the idea behind what we've done, we could see how that would work for all kinds of people. And, you know, I love the different use cases. And so we're always talking about, oh, you could totally build something for, you know, like we're talking about when you were breastfeeding kids, you know, how good it would have been to have, you know, this. So we decided if we could boil this right down to its kind of core elements and then package it up and roll it out for other people to use, like what would be the kind of the most helpful thing? So people who've used Notion a fair bit would be really familiar with, oh, there's always a new template, you know, there's always a new kind of tool that someone's built that's pretty cool. But our experience was those fill up your workspace pretty quickly, and then you don't really know where everything is, and it gets pretty chaotic in there. And really, you just exchange having stuff all over your house and on bits of paper and in different mediums, that mess, for the mess of having it all in your workspace, but still not really knowing where it is. So we built this thing called the Family Hub, which is that structure that we've just been sort of demonstrating for you. This is the Notion family website that we put together. And so it contains the Family Hub, which is something that you're actually able to, it's like a template, but it's probably a bit more than a template because it's the way to structure your workspace so that everything has its right place, so that everything fits and it doesn't get into that totally chaotic space. So it has the Family Hub, it has templates as well, and then just some other information about how to connect with other people who are doing this. But I just wanted to quickly show you, if anyone's interested in exploring it, we're really excited about kind of going on that journey with people and sharing it with people. So we put this together. There's a live demo that you can actually go in, and this is not our stuff, but you can fully poke around. It's, you know, pretty filled up with data, and it's a made up family. We based it on ours, but it's a place that you can sort of go in and click around. So it's not the template, it's just like a working version. But further down on this page, you can actually download a basic version of the Family Hub. So it's got 6 databases.
Yeah, it's got just 6 databases. The main ones are your tag ones and your family members.
Yeah.
And then we sort of give you a few others like your medical profile, measurements, your milestones, creations, and photo kind of view from your filing cabinet. But yeah, there's a filing cabinet in there. And so it just gets you started with those main things, a bit of an in tray, and it's just a really simple version. So
to do that, people just, you know, there's a link here to click on it, and you go and you access it through Gumroad. And then and there's a full set of instructions about how to do it. Jay did a really great job of like building out the instructions to really walk people through it. So if they haven't used Notion before, it's really accessible. And for people who have and feel really comfortable, it'll, you know, be even easier. And so once, you know, if people want to do that and then kind of put that into their workspace, then what we're also doing is building a series of templates, and we're not just going to share the ones that we've made. There's a couple that we've made of, you know, ones that we've shown you, but there's so many templates across the Notion sort of community. And the great thing about that setup is because of this structure where basically you grab the database that's sort of at the heart of whatever template or series of databases, and you pop them in here, and then you use the dashboard, whether the template has made one for you or not, and then you stick it in the dashboards page, and then it's plugged in, and you can relate it if it makes sense to. So if it's a template, that connects with family members, then you could connect it to the family members database. And so we provide instructions for all that sort of stuff. So we did this for, where's Lennon's?
I think it's in the actual live demo.
It's in the live demo.
Yeah.
So for those of you who've been hanging around the Notion Australia stuff, we did the Lennon Builds a Plant nursery. And so we popped a version of that in just to kind of show you how you could take a template that someone else has made and plug it straight into, the Family Hub. And so here's Lennon's template with Tiger in there. But if we duck in here, you'll see his indoor plants database is actually sitting in the database library along with all the other ones. And then at the front end, we've just got the dashboard, and we actually, instead of it having its own, it got tucked into a bigger gardening dashboard. So
with my ugly gardening photos.
Oh,
I forgot to
did I just show them?
I forgot to change the the live demo to have the good photos in it.
Yeah. So we're really hoping that other people will kind of, want to explore that as well and use the Family Hub, and we'll be able to make it better over time. That we'll, be able to kind of journey with people and have other templates and ways of doing things. We've sort of focused in on our our needs, like medical stuff and a lot of things based around the work that we do. We've put together, there's a Facebook group and we've got a newsletter, and, people can contact us via email and stuff. We've only just, in the last couple of days, just put it out. So we're sort of launching it now, really.
Yeah. Hence why there's only 2 templates.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a whole stash, but we haven't put them all up there yet.
But hopefully we'll add other people's templates there too. So if you, have got a great template that you're using, we hope people sort of email us and, work out how we can pop it into the hub, and we can also show people those templates too. Yeah,
we'd be really keen to promote other people's templates. And some people charge for their templates. And so, we can facilitate that, because they're stored off-site. But we can promo it. So
yeah,
that's us, I think, Lennon.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you, and thank you for labeling my name in that.
Oh, of course, got to give.
Yeah, we
put Chipper in the pet. That's what we should have
done.
Next time.
Okay, I still got a couple of questions. This one's actually, I think, related to fruition, but Tim, you can answer this. Mac is asking, how did you manage to provide the toggle for the dark mode on the main page of Notion Family?
Yeah, so fruition site. So that's Stephen Ooh. I don't know how to pronounce his second name properly. He made an update to fruition recently that enables it. I don't even think you have to turn it on. It's just there. But that site doesn't look very good in dark mode, sadly. So.
Yeah, and fruition, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a service, not really a service, it's a guide of walking you through how you can point any Notion page or any Notion site to your own domain name. And I've put the link into the channel.
Yeah.
Not channel, the chat. Still in the Slack.
If anyone just wants to put content up on the web quickly and is happy for it to look Notion-y.
Yeah. We just got a shout out from Yeah. That I'm assuming she's just in awe of what you guys have shown. And it is great, actually. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, good.
What else do we got? Luke got the typical question, comes up every single time. Do you ever use the sidebar or only your shortcuts on your HQ pages? Why and why not?
Yeah, sure. Well, it'd be interesting. What do you do?
I do use the sidebar a lot, just mostly for my favorites, really, because I work in it for personal, but then I've also got work stuff in there. Don't show them.
No, I want to show.
So I use it, but it's personal preference. You can put a whole bunch of other things in there, which Tim is better to speak about than me. Sorry.
So Yeah, one of the ways we structure the workspace this way on purpose, the major dashboard. So if we go to this page, you can see when we pop it open, you've got all the pages there. So some people don't, you know, like Notion's powerful. There are a few different ways that you can interact with it. You can have everything open in the dashboard, in the sidebar, and so you can get to all those dashboards and not have to navigate on the page.
It leaves them open too, I think, if you've opened it.
Yeah, it remembers which way you had them last. I actually use, I try not to touch the mouse if I can help it. So I Command P brings up this search bar. And so I tend to jump around the workspace. The search is really powerful, and just type a couple of keys and it'll find anything anywhere in the workspace. So if I can remember the name of something, I'll tend to go to the pages directly that way. Yeah, but again, it's just preference. I know Danny, who is often at these, he's got a really cool sort of menu bar that he's built that he puts on every page, and that's how he navigates. So again, it's kind of preference and how you like to set it up.
Great. What else do we got? Also, I just want to acknowledge that it's really cool that you guys each have a different view, but also your kids actually get to use Notion in his own way. That was really cool. I always thought it was just this tool that you guys as parents use it, but you actually get your kids engaged that, and that's great. That's awesome. Really,
we set it up before when we started homeschooling. You know, they just got given all these classes, and then our eldest boy had a lot of face-to-face time, and he had subjects, and then he had teachers, and it was really kind of like, oh, this is how we're going to manage this. And so we put together like a timeline that he could follow and know which teachers he was seeing. So yeah, it was good. He just used that himself, and he actually shared it with his teachers, and his teacher could switch things around. She decided she didn't want to do writing then. She wanted to do it after lunch. She could, she could mess with the schedule. She could mess with the, schedule. And then I could see it as well if she'd done something or if something wasn't working. Yeah. So that was quite good. The share. The
collaborative stuff's been really helpful.
Yeah, with dietitians, with teachers, with the doctors. It's been really good.
Yeah. And even I think, like our second boy River is a total nerd, and so he's always like quick to, how does this work, and I want to use it, So we use Notion with him sometimes to teach him how to do things, but then also we encourage him. So he's like, playing games, and he's documenting some of the stuff he's doing in games, and Notion becomes his like little notebook, and he's just building those skills that he's going to need for the rest of his life by playing around in here, and we can work on it with him together. It's kind of fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
And this is probably a little bit spicy question, and that's from me. There are loads of stuff that you guys have covered, medication, grocery, other stuff. What do you think is the line of overdoing it almost? And I often think to myself, am I overdoing things in Notion? What is your guys' definition of that?
I feel like if it doesn't sort of come naturally. So Tim did the grocery one, which just seems excessive. It just, I'm like, that's just ridiculous. But it suited him to do it. Yeah, it's so good.
It changed your life. Yeah.
And he shops, and it's so quick. So it wasn't that. It's just more. I wasn't saying it because of that, but I was saying it because if it comes naturally and you go, I want to work out how to do that. Like today, I'm sorting through uniforms, and I was just like, this is annoying. I just need to know which ones I'm going to sell, which ones I'm going to, I need to buy, and I can't remember who gave me what, and it's all stuffed in a bag, and each kid's got their own separate bag of crap that they're going to grow into. And so it just came naturally. But for other people, they're like, that is excessive. Like, that is ridiculous. But at the same time, I was like, well, I need a way to manage this. And so I think sometimes the urge just comes to you to create something, to track something. And once you learn how to do it and how to track things, you'll be tracking all sorts of things. I might have bought some extra groceries when we went into lockdown, and I might have needed to keep track of.
It was you that then ended
where I may have needed to keep track of where I had put the food.
Yep.
Bits of extra, not toilet paper. No, didn't buy extra toilet paper.
Well done.
But gluten-free food
Yeah.
that is going to run out, I kept a few extra bits, but I was like, I don't know where I put that. I have to store that shit. Excuse my language. So I made a little storage area, like a storage database that told me where all my food was being stored.
Yeah.
I'm just saying might have. That's
some of the
hypothetical.
Some of the things we've done would seem overkill, but they're actually things that we need. Like we haven't built, it's been a long time since I built anything, you know, that was just like, we didn't need it. It's always to solve a problem or to try and get around something. So I don't think you can go too far in that sense. And I haven't found anything, like I'm not trying to do my diary inside of Notion.
Same actually.
It's not built for it yet. And with no API, it's just like it's not functional, you know. So I'm using it for the things that it's good at, and then, you know, otherwise I use something else. But there's so much power in having everything in the one place. There's so much utility in, you know, being able to create, say, that finance dashboard and having all of the receipts, everything. Like when I see the accountant, all the tax information, everything that we bought over the course of the year, and he sits me down and says, oh, you know, all right, where are the receipts for donations? And I just press a button and there they are, you know. That stuff is so powerful, as opposed to beforehand going in Dropbox and then, I think I kept a list of things in Evernote, you know.
And it's been empowering, like, I think it's empowering the way that, you know, naturally in a family, one of you does something more than the other, you know. So Tim might do some of the budgeting a bit more and I do a lot of the medical stuff. But it's actually quite empowering. Like now, I don't need him. I can just go into the budget and have a look for myself and pull out that bill or, you know.
I've changed my mind.
But it's the same. He can kind of go, oh, I've got this medical issue and Jay's not here and she's sick, and how do I work out, you know, I've taken this kid to the doctor, how do I work out what's going on with him?
Yeah.
And you can look at the sickness tracker and really see what's happening. And so I think that's also just been super empowering, you know, like to have it all in the one spot and to be able to share it with each other. Love that.
That's awesome. I think like just when you guys going through that, I feel like this is the ultimate mission of getting everything about your family together. You just have to absolutely face everything that you're trying to not deal with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. What else do we got? I've got a little poll question at the end. If people are getting late in their time zone, we just really would like to know if you are appealed by the offering from the Jeffries and would like to give Notion Family a go. And if you do, the link is at the bottom again. I'll definitely go check that. I need one for my pet. I need it for Chipper.
That's what I want to say.
I'm putting together the pet dashboard as a whole thing. So
awesome.
Hopefully you'll have that soon for Chipper.
That'd be great. I do think that's all of the questions that people have raised. And there is one more question left, which is our question to you as audience. What are the topics you might be interested in for a future Notion Australian event? Feel free to type in that. Nice. And we've got someone just created a filing cabinet. Hopefully you guys just inspired that.
Yeah.
You need a filing cabinet.
You will be adding properties.
Like they're going out of that.
Yeah, like they're going out of it. Oh, I need that. I need to track that. Oh, make sure you added the tags property to that one, and or create the tags database as well and link the two. I've found that really helpful.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense, email us.
I have a confession to make. I created these like databases, but now like I have a separate database just for my design inspirations, but it's disconnected from this tag database, which I've just created 2 months ago. Now I'm on the fence of should I just go through every single entry and then link it to the new tag database? It's a massive job.
But it's worth. You only do it once. you know, and then once it's
I
done,
should do it, really.
Yeah,
It works perfectly.
a beer and sit down and tag your stuff, Lennon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20
tags already. Go, girl. Was that a girl? I didn't see. Sorry.
Yeah, that's me.
It's me. Yeah, it is so.
You never use Notion. What
Yeah.
would be your starting piece of advice?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. No, like definitely start small. So you'll see in the Family Hub, it's very little. Like
the Family Hub basic version that we give you. A friend of ours just downloaded it today who hasn't used Notion at all, and helped us just refine, the instructions, and so she could really just follow it from start to from the website all the way through to adding in things. And so it's a great way. It's a great one to start, and then as you start using it, you'll learn more and more, and you'll get, I wonder if I can track that, or can I do this, and you'll just see other little templates that people have put out. The sickness tracker you can grab too.
But you want to start as simple as possible, and I think part of the reason why I like the idea of people using the Family Hub or that sort of idea to start with is you don't end up with chaos with things everywhere, but it also teaches you a little bit about how to relate databases to each other, and then how to create views of those databases in pages that are elsewhere. And once you get your head around that, like those are some of Notion's superpowers. Once you get your head around that, you can build all kinds of things. So just by using it, it'll teach you how to do those things. And you
can do what I did, which was just go on YouTube and look up Notion for Dummies. And that taught me quite a lot.
There's so much good content.
Yeah, there's lots of good content, lots of good videos out there too. Show me how to do this or show me how to do that. There's a couple of good Facebook groups too, Notion Made Simple and now Notion Family, that you can just chuck questions into. So there's some good people out there to ask.
But if people are playing with the Family Hub, because we've just released it, we're super interested in kind of journeying with you pretty closely, finding out how it goes and helping you with things. So don't be a stranger. Cool.
I might do a little bit of promotion for our follow-up events then. Next one, so 2 weeks after the Wednesday, we always have our events. Try to have our events on Wednesday. The next one, we think will probably focus on one aspect of the Family Hub. We'll either talk about it or maybe just pick a template to build it. And the one after that, which is the second last major events of this year, we'll have Luke, who is on the line today, and he will kind of talk about Notion. He kind of builds his own workspace or his own operating system, and he calls it Muse OS to kind of monitor every aspect of his life, which is kind of in a similar vein, but in a very developer type of way. He had a developer background, and he's also a designer on the side, which is very fascinating for me. So stay in tune. We'll start pushing out some content for that. And Tim and I are planning for our final events for this year. We might do a little bit countdown on what has been cool happening this year for the Notion community. And we might do events on that to wrap this wonderful quotation year up. So stay in tune for that. I think this year has worked great for me, actually, in a way. not that I enjoy lockdown, but I think I got something interesting out of this year, really.
You got to know us.
Yes, absolutely. And we got to get started on this whole Notion Australia things.
Yeah.
This team.
Good.
Anything to add to Jeffries?
I'm just looking at Luke saying, building a life app in Notion, single childless edition. Yeah, it's good. I can't wait. And I want to, Luke, the Muse OS, I assume he'll share it next time, but he's put together a beautiful visualization of how it all fits together, which is so good. No.
And I was just talking about in the chat that you guys will probably appreciate if he help you guys try to visualize how extensive your Notion family is. I think that's going to be very powerful.
Yeah, I've tried to do it on the whiteboard, but even the whiteboard couldn't cope. So We'll see. No, that's it from us. Are you done?
Yeah, we're done.
Thank you.
Cool.
We've got to get up to 4 kids in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I've got a call in America at 4:00.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Thanks, guys, for coming.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for questions.
Yeah, this event will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can rewatch either here or go to YouTube. And don't forget to click that link down the bottom to look at Notion Family. We'll hopefully see you very soon, or have a good night, evening, morning, or lunchtime.
Yeah. Nice.
Cheers.
See you later, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.